I'll see if I can make that work. Yeah. I didn't have the exact dip tube model I wanted.
Did you actually order a pipe?
No, I went down and got one. I said, well, it's not the exact model,
But at least the right dimensions?
I said, yeah, I'll give it a try. It'll be like 1 to 2 weeks. So if it doesn't fit, as long as I don't cut it or do anything, I'm going to take the...
Like tinkering with, yeah, as long as you don't damage it, then you can take it back and...
I'll see if it works. Hopefully. If it doesn't, I'll just take it back before I start fucking with it. And tell them to order me a new one.
Charge this first. I got shit all over here.
As soon as the water heats up in the shower, it goes cold.
I've had that issue lately. I mean, shit for me's been warm. Where did I put my There you are. Okay, I need to address these fucking empty cans. You're reaching for a toy you want to play right now. You're just being playboy. Oh my lord, dog. Oh. You sweet little thing. That sweet pup. Despite brewing Crisis in their space. Why couldn't the Crisis hit you? That would have been hilarious if it hit you and then, like, the Unbidden and, like, Earth was like, fuck you. Here. Actually, let me show you my shit really quick. I'm not gonna, like, go too much into it, but I figure I showed off. Because, I pretty much have, like, I'm like the biggest bitch. I'm the bad bitch now. And I also found out that, like, corporate empire that you, fucking, like, break away from, it's morphing and amalgamifying with its vassals and shit. So I'm just like, oh, fuck, they just got huge. They were, like, this tiny, weak thing, and now, like, there's a few vassals that are around them that they just merged with not too long ago, so I'm just sitting here like, oh, shit. Not really because it's gonna be a problem, but because it's, like... It just kind of puts more of a damper on everything else, considering that, you know, they just really had to, you know, they just had to do this. Because now they've just given me, frankly, a carte blanche to just, like, take all of that. But honestly, what I'm going to do is probably make this its own sector, vassalize them as a state, and just, you know, fucking literally subjugate this entire, like, the, you know, the corporation, basically. But I got one small vassal right here that is really pretty friendly with me, so I decided to subjugate them. But then you have, like, and I also finally took out the covenant that was right here. And then they had a breakaway state that was friendly with me, so I decided to subjugate them too, and they were actually okay with that as well. So I'm going to integrate them, so then these end up, you know, being part of my empire instead. So eventually now I'm going to switch my, actually I've been meaning to, I didn't do it yet, but my, no, not edicts, policies. I'm going to want to now switch it over to Liberation Wars, because I want to actually impose my ideology on these empires now, so I can subjugate them. Here, I'll do that so you can kind of actually see. Holy shit! Yeah, it's sort of like, shut up! I sort of like fucking, you know, kind of, you know, just mine now. Yeah, I basically have like 2/5 of the galaxy as mine, and mine alone. I don't know what's going on down there, but yeah. So I think next round is to go back down here, subjugate these two fuckers right here, and then here, and then these guys, and then make my way down here, honestly, because here, let me actually do that. There we go. Because there's like a few things down here that I kind of want to address and deal with. Mainly because these dudes are scion of these fuckers way up here, this Fallen Empire, and I'm not like fond of that. I don't like that they surround me, like, or I surround them. Wait, where's their military fleet? Oh, they're right there. I was wait. I don't have close borders with them? What the fuck? Hold up. Fuck you. Fuck you. I don't like that. Hold on. Fuck you. I can't. Well, shit. Never mind. I was going to. But, yeah. No retreat. No step back. You're going Stalingrad. Oh. And I figured, you know, let me show you my stable, like my totally stable income. You think negative 19 is really that bad? It really isn't. It was like a negative 450 something not that long ago. Like, I'm not kidding. Like, I actually have been able to, like, get it to a decent, like, shit again. And because I've been doing a lot of manufacturing and production now, like, my minerals are down, but I'm making a bunch of mining districts for my recent conquered worlds. I got more food than I literally know what to do with. I got, like, I'm just selling this shit. Like, these things right here, I'm just endlessly selling to keep that up. And just, that's it. Like, there really ain't much for me to do, honestly, besides just kind of set up shop and just, like, vibe. And every time I conquer, like, these, like, planets and shit, like, you'd think their stability and, like, all that shit would be very low. No. Like, amenities, you know, stability, happiness, like, all that's either in the middle or up. Like, frankly, like, I have never had any issues with, like, unstable or very upset populations after conquering them. They've, like, if anything, and I noticed a little trick. Basically, the idea is, like, you don't really want your amenities / happiness to go less than, like, a positive, like, 5. At least IMO. Because, like, if you let it go lower than that, you know, basically, that's likely to essentially make it possible that, you know, you might, hold on, I fucking just lost my train of thought, Jesus Christ. 3 dice throughs, managed income still negative 2k. Yeah, well, oh, I remember the amenities and happiness shit. Because mainly, if you don't, like, there's a chance that the happiness and amenities, you know, will go down. And because of, like, stagnation of some sort, like, or because there might be, like, you know, populations migrating and shit. So you always want the happiness and amenities up, you know, and, like, really high up, honestly, at least for me. So I have, like, hollow theaters and shit like that, communal housing things and the like, mainly just because it offers amenities and at least some happiness and housing. So, you know, there's at least always a guaranteed, like, happy population of some sort. The only time I actually had problems with that type of shit was like at the very start of the game with my capital world. And then after a certain point, that stabilized and, like, instability essentially has kind of not been a problem at all in my empire whatsoever. They increase amenities on all worlds or resort worlds. No, I have not. No, I want to. Because I have, like, a habitat world that I conquered, and it was not developed at all. Like, it was done by the Permian Corps, but they didn't add anything to it yet. They must have just built it. And so I decided to make it, I renamed it to Euphoria, and I'm going to make it like a leisure world. You just have, like, a bunch of, like, amenities shit there. Because I know that stuff does spread, you know, throughout the rest of your empire as well, and to all the worlds, you know, because it kind of adds, like, you know, like, oh, there's a leisure world, if you want to take a vacay, go there. You know, that type of shit. It's kind of like Ryza in Star Trek. The resort world where it's like exclusively there for, you know, chilling and vibing. Cannot be developed at all aside from certain resort approved buildings. Yeah, I haven't gotten that yet, so once I notice that I have an ability to set up a resort world, I'm definitely setting up at least like 1 or 2 of those. I know I can set up a Gaia world right now. Like, I unlocked the tech to set up a Gaia world, which I'm assuming that's how I can get to the resort world, so I'm just waiting for that tech to pop up so I can actually have those options. No resort worlds is the social tech. I know. Yeah, when it comes to like habitability and stuff like that, all that is in the social tech. Like, I know. Same with the terraforming and all that other shit. Like, all the stuff that you do to colonize and planets and all that's in the social tech tree. So, I know. The same with the Gaia tech. Like, to make a Gaia world and terraform that. Which, by the way, every, like, planet I've terraformed so far has actually been super successful. Like, either it's like giving me like natural beauty, like, you know, boosts, or like this happened faster than we expected. We can actually, like, you know, use, you know, some of the diversity of this like rapid acceleration of terraforming as a way to either make amenities or extra pop growth and shit like that. Like, every time I've terraformed a planet so far, it's always giving me some good shit. I'm just like, what the fuck? I didn't expect this. I thought it was just terraform planet. There you go. Boom. That's it. It's like nothing really comes out of it outside of like, you have a planet now, you know, that you can, you know, settle on. But at this point, like, I mean, it's dead ass. Like, I mean, it's some Gucci shit, because I'm like gonna basically make all these like terraformed worlds into very specific things to increase amenities, energy production, and stuff like that. Like, I'm doing so good when it comes to alloy, consumer goods, rare materials, and shit like that, that I mainly just want to try to get, like, my energy back up. And if I could get, a few energy nexuses and stuff like that on a few of these planets and have a few generators. I also noticed that, at least for like the habitats that you can have in orbit in solar systems, those, like, the reactors for those energy, like, stations, they are, like, twice as much than the planet ones. So, I want to make a few of these habitation worlds, you know, strictly for, like, making energy. Like an orbital power plant. Like, because, honestly, like, goddamn, they have, like, at least, it seems like, I think, double. Like, because on a planet, it's, like, 11 to 12, like, production of energy, but on a habitation world, it's, like, 28. It's like, fuck. It's like, I need to set up a few habitation worlds just to be generator planets and just be power plants. If you have the Void Dweller origin. Well, because I have, like, every race in the galaxy that I can, you know, take from, I do have Void Dwellers. And honestly, I don't really need them. I mean, they're just as fine. Like, honestly, I'm doing, like, my empire is, like, despite being so fucking huge, is actually very stable, and even if I send, you know, like, a pop initially to colonize that isn't, like, you know, rated for the habitability, like at 40 to 80% or some shit like that, I mean, like, because there's so many other pops in my empire, that the chances are they're just going to move over there. Because I know I have a few planets that still technically have some unemployment and shit like that, but it doesn't make a serious effect to any of my stability or anything like that, because basically they just migrate from different worlds. Like, if I have, like, unemployed pops, they just migrate from place to place, and, you know, and, like, as I'm, you know, making them up and producing them. That's, like, another thing. Like, if you have unpopulated pops or unemployed pops that are just staying on one world, try to resell them. Because, I mean, that actually will help with stability on that planet, but also with the other planet, because then they're producing more shit, because now they have an extra pop, you know, to help, you know, maintain their production. So, honestly, I mean, you know, it's not too bad, at least at this point. But if you let it get to, if you don't, like, develop your home world, so, like, that shit will be a problem. So I'm always micromanaging my planets. I mean, at this point, I'm micromanaging my planets more so than my fucking fleet. Mainly because I've been doing all this, like, advancement and territory grab and shit. They actually passed the resolution. Wait, what? You can only get the best habits taken to avoid toilet origin if thanks to the habitat assumption. Ah. Wait, what resolution? I don't even. You can't just say they passed a resolution without telling me what the fuck it is. No, funny enough, actually. Because now I've basically been the biggest, baddest bitch, even on the galactic community in my game. I actually was able to kind of like push and do an emergency resolution on chartering workers' rights and shit. And oh my god, I don't know what it is about my game, but when it comes to anything about like trying to ban slavery or workers' rights stuff and shit like that, or egalitarian resolutions, there is always a 50-50, and I have to fight and do like all sorts of quid pro quos and political intrigue to get that shit to pass. Though every time, shit's passed. So I'm basically just chartering, you know, like egalitarian workers' rights and all that shit throughout the galaxy now at this point. Boom. And you gain 10% diplomatic weight. I mean, it seems beneficial, but like not really that much. It just basically makes it so your vassals are more obedient, but you get a little extra diplomatic power. More aiming for the vassals losing power than anything. Yeah, for me, I kind of have my vassals more of like, at least because I don't have the, you know, vassal expanded DLC shit. I mean, and even then, I honestly would, like, I've been setting up my vassals so far to be kind of more like cooperative, like mutual benefit things. Because I'm like, at least how I, you know, help maintain a loyalty to where it's like 100. At least what I've been doing is I'll grant like a little bit of my research, like 15%, and all they have to do is just like maybe give me like 50% of like allies or something. But sometimes I won't even let it. At least so with my one vassal, I don't even at least have them tax or anything. I'm actually just granting them a little bit of research to kind of help catch them up. Beyond that, like, I mean, they don't really have to do anything. So they are basically just like, I'll protect you and leave you alone, and, you know, you can chill. And besides, they can't expand. Like, the hyperlanes that they're set up in, like, it all goes into me. So, like, they can't really go anywhere. So it's either be my buddy or I take your territory, you know? So, because, like, I mean, at that rate, I mean, considering at least, you know, they don't have an ability to fight me and shit, you know, might as well use, you know, them to a benefit and just let them chill and just, you know, protect them. Besides, they have the same ethics and like government civics as me outside of the share burdens thing, but it's whatever. So we're closely like aligned enough to where it's like it's just better to just like have him as a vassal instead. Which, at least with these other empires I've been fighting with for so fucking long now, like, I'm gonna do that with them. Because, like, they're small enough to where they can definitely be some big buffers, and they have enough firepower to where they can hold their own. But, like, not with me. But at least, you know, with other empires. And they don't have good relationships with a lot of the neighbors that I don't have good relations with. But, at least with some of the ones that I don't have good relationship with, like the enemy of my enemy is my friend situation, they're not really as aggressive towards me, so they just kind of leave me alone. If anything, I have a few non-aggression pacts with some of the empires I'm not exactly too keen with. Mainly just because there's a mutual benefit to just, let them fuck, my enemy up and I just leave them alone. Humans have the academic privilege welfare while the aliens have, well, because everyone's got shared burdens for me, there's not exactly much of a hierarchy. But I think that's frankly has helped with a lot of the stability, though, because I think because of the perks I got, it's really has helped, especially with the scavenger civic. Holy fuck, that is like an OP perk. Like the idea if you fucking defeat like a few navies of shit from the enemy, and then you could scavenge their fucking fleets, and then like add like a shitload of extra firepower to your fucking fleets and shit like that. That's insane. I've honestly have like been able to, that's how I've been able to frankly to solidify my power in Stellaris. So it's like with that fucking perk alone. Just because if I had like a Pyrrhic victory or maybe just a margin to defeat or some shit, and then I get another fleet in there and finish the job, and then fucking get a few science vessels in there. I basically have for any fleets or naval power I lose, I basically get it back or then some. It's just what the fuck. And when I was going after that fucking machine AI empire, I got so many fucking battleships and cruisers. It's oh my god. It's I kind of want to mothball a few because I just have too many of those now. It's Jesus. I need some room for destroyers and corvettes. Fuck. But I mean, the corvettes at this point are kind of worthless. It's better, at this point, unless you have 100 of them in a fucking fleet, they're not really exactly great at this point. I don't build robot pups, so I'm sure I'm not fighting the AI crisis. Well, I know for me, I have robots and some robotic workers, but I don't have it consistent. I have so many other alien human pops and shit like that it would actually legit be a detriment if I automated everything. Legit. So some planets, at least in some, at least a few tomb worlds that I know most of my pops just can't visit or live on, I, have automated a lot of shit there. But, and some of the habitat worlds, I've let some of those be automated, but when it comes to all the broader workforce sector and shit, if I were to automate everything, that would be bad. Unless I just reconverted fucking everything to have amenities, holo theaters, and luxury complexes or whatever the fuck. I mean, I would have to reconvert a lot of my shit, and that wouldn't be good. Outside to the robots in my territory, they have citizens' rights because in my lore, they're artificial, just made humanism. Yeah. Well, I also just finally got cybernetic tech as well, or at least I'm starting to open my the pathway to cybernetic tech and shit. So eventually I'm just gonna have a bunch of cyborgs running around. And I have the ability to have clone armies, but I haven't used that at all because, I mean, I have so many, different pops that have, a shitload of, firepower when it comes to, armies and stuff like that. I just, recruit, 5 of, my toughest bitches and shit and just send them out there. Because honestly, a lot of the planets that I end up, invading either have 2 defense armies or nothing at all. So at that point, it's just there's nothing. So I have 3 armies, and they all vary from 5 to 10 in fire, and at least when it comes to how many transports or how many armies I have, or at least within the bigger army. And yeah, I just obliterate any fucking planet I'm landing on. Well, maybe not obliterate, but I just go in there, steamroll, and fucking just all right, you're occupied by us now. Also, there's, I don't know if you've got it before, Venom, but there's one planet that I do have that actually has some gigantic, sentient life that lives on the planet that if you do certain options when dealing with them, you can actually make them be friendly and actually have them work with you, including being soldiers. So at least for me, it allowed me to recruit 3 gigantic fucking gigantic life soldiers and shit, And oh my god, like that just like triples like any firepower I have. You use them as a food source? What the fuck, bro? Oh my god. Jesus. A food source. What the fuck? Dude, I would... What? What the fuck? I didn't know you could do that. You can use it as a food source? What the hell? I didn't know you could do that. I was friendly with them because they weren't being harmful and shit. And in fact, once I was able to, like, communicate with them, they actually had an interest of being with me and joining me. And at least in the option, it said even some of them want to join in our military. You know, and I'm like, okay. I'm like, all right, fuck it. You know, I'm going to take advantage of this. Instead of having, like, weak-ass armies, or I have to, like, you know, send, like, a gigantic flood, you know, the wave, you know, of, like, troops and shit. I could just have a few of them and send those bitches out there. And, and they have an insane amount of health, too. Like, they barely take damage. I mean, well, they do, but it takes, like, 3 times as long for them to take damage in comparison to, like, you know, your regular armies in that game. It is just fucking amazing. Like, I don't know what it is about the specific gameplay I've been doing so far, but I've just been getting, like, a fucking lucky streak left and right with all this shit. I don't know what the fuck I've been doing. I don't know what shit I've been doing, you know, to be able to just be as lucky as I am with that shit, but I have been. I have a few, generically modified alien races I use for food. You are a fucking... Man, good thing that, like, we're not in some intergalactic fire, like, you know, fucking empire, you know, and shit, because, like, I mean, what the, like, man, what the fuck would you be doing as a leader? Jesus Christ. Dude, you and I would definitely be, like, you know, like, if we were having a multiplayer match of this game, you and I would be battling the fuck out. Humans will lap luxury in my game. Well, like, the thing is, like, because of shared burdens, like, everybody is not only able to, you know, like, work if they want, but also have lap of luxury if they want. I mean, you know, there's, like, mutual, like, living standards for everybody, where it's all Gucci. That's why my stability and my fucking, you know, amenities and happiness is so damn high. Because everyone can have luxury and, you know, work and shit. And if they're unemployed in one planet, they could just move to another one and, you know, go over there and be happy. Free travel, free, like, it also legitimate free trade, too. And honestly, that's kind of why, like, I have so much alloys and consumer goods and stuff. Because, like, I literally just export it and just trade it off. Like, I'll literally do trade offers where I try to get favors from other empires or shit like that, or maybe even, like, you know, for specific materials and shit, and I'll just, like, give them, like, hey, do you want, like, 1,000 of my consumer goods? Do you want, like, 1,000 of my alloys or something? You know, like, because I just got literally more than what I could do with, or food. Like, I'll, like, hey, do you want, like, 10k worth of food? Because, I mean, you just saw earlier, like, I got so much of that shit, I don't know what to do with it. I literally can't, like, use enough of it. Like, I'm using way more minerals than anything else, and, like, because that shit would be at, like, 50k, and then I'll do, like, mass upgrades to start, like, you know, making districts, you know, fucking buildings on planets and shit like that, and then I'll go back down to, you know, a small amount, like it was earlier, and then it'll have, like, that little negative point, but, like, it's just, like, Jesus, like, I don't know what to do with all my shit. I have so much of it, I don't know what to do with it. The only ones that I kind of eyeball are just the minerals and the energy, and that's it. Because minerals are just, you know, needed for, well, anything, basically, and energy is needed because if you don't have any of that, your empire will just literally collapse, and it's needed to maintain and upkeep everything. Like, not only is it, like, energy as in, like, power, like, you know, electricity and stuff, it's also your money and your income. It's both at once, so that is the big one that you need to look for. And if it's, like, in a negative, make sure it's a small negative. And if it's, like, in a positive, make it big. But, like, honestly, I don't care if mine's in a negative at this point. Like, because, again, I have so much shit, I don't know what to do with it. I can literally just go to the markets and just, like, sell a shitload of it there. or do those trade deals like I was talking about. Like, there's just so much that I could do to make that energy back up if it starts getting very low. And then I could get it from 1K back to 60K, just off selling a shitload of stuff. Also, tech switch over Earth in a moment, and they have a massive alloy deficit. They're about to lose so many fleets to default. Oh my god. Yeah, see, that's what I mean. That's why, honestly, when I started the game, I really made sure I tried to do a lot of forge/industrial manufacturing. And that paid off. Because now I have more than I know what to do with. I have so much of that shit being produced, I don't fucking know what to do with all of it at this point. It's like I'm doing capitalism better than the space capitalists in my game. It's like, what the fuck? Because, the fucking, corpo empires, they're literally are, either just fractured, destroyed, or just the big corpo one that I broke away from that's just isolated and basically just like a xenophobic, isolated state, at this point. They aren't expanding, they aren't even going to war with anybody anymore, they're just, isolated now. It's like, alright, well, free reign, bitch. So I'm going to, my next goal now that I basically secured, the top of the galaxy with, with those sectors up there, now I'm going to go back down and subjugate those other, those other empires that I've been warned with for a long time. And once I'm done with that, then we're going to finish off that, slaving despot, Corpo Empire. Well, it's not really slaving despots anymore because, sentient, or at least organic, slavery has been banned. Not sentient, because robots and things like that could still technically be enslaved, but at least when it comes to organics and just, alien populations, because of a lot of the fucking politics and diplomacy I was pulling and shit when that was an emergency resolution, I mean, I made sure that shit passed, because if not, there was gonna be some scorched galaxy shit going on. I was gonna basically guarantee to make a point about that. But it didn't need to, because it passed. And narrowly, too. That's what, really made it, fuck. And then the Charter Workers' Rights one was very narrow, but then last second, it just, bloop! Just, it went heavy to the pass. So I feel like, because I called in at least 2 favors from 2 empires that were abstaining. And then when they decided to, vote for it, at last second, I guess, 5 others did too. And, so I was just like, fuck. Nice. That was some good shit. Basically all the, pro-worker shit that I've been trying to push and stuff is legitimately, while it seems to be very contestive in the galaxy, it's definitely working, and pushing through. Overload will make use of doing fast. Jesus fucking Christ. How about that? How about them apples? Sit on it and spin around on it. Sit and spin on it, sir. Okay, bring it here to... Oh my god, I should have seen that coming. I should have seen that coming. Oh, what was I thinking? I should have seen that from 10 miles away. Cause you spin me right around, right around. Oh, little so girl, look at you, bye. You sweet little fluff. Who's a handsome doggo? Oh, you a handsome doggo? I think you is. I think you is. This boy is just a lazy boy today. Lazy grump bones. Moany grump bones over here, dude. Woke up and he was at the end of the bed, just literally going, just doing that shit. And I was just like, bruh. I just grabbed him and just flipped him around inside. He was like Like, he was just like a moany, groany boy today. What? Yeah, you're coming over here because I'm mimicking your grunts. What was that, sweet fluffy? It's saying there should be a trans exception to the Second Amendment. Well, I know you've mentioned it before. I mean, he's not the only one to make that advocacy. There's plenty of fucking far-right fascists that are making that advocacy. What? What, baby? You want one of these? Actually, let me finish this off, actually. Yeah, there's only two left. Oh, shit. Oh, shit. I don't want to grab that yet. Put that in there. Back recycling. There we go. Sit. Sit, boy. Sit. Papa. No, there you go. I think he's watching Daily Wire. Dude, of course he is. Dude, Daily Wire's fucking, like, all over the place. Like, they're funded by billionaire fucking fracking brothers and shit. The Wilkes brothers. So it's just like, they, you know, like, they are guaranteeing, assuring that Daily Wire gets out there as much as possible. So, yeah, I mean, I'm not, like, of course he's going to be listening to that shit. Whether he actively seeks it out, which is likely, you know, is, you know, probably, you know, a different thing. And even then, it's like, even if he's not necessarily seeking it out, it's going to his fucking feeds. He's seeing it, either way. Probably agrees with it. And eventually, if he hasn't, is going to be checking it out more and more. Oh shit, you know, speaking of which, it looks like TJ's streaming. Right-wing memes, trans panic, AI videos.
Red Robin is.
God
Red
damn
Robin
it.
is essentially...
Shit. This is on! How are you, like... I mean, come on, really? Fucking hoe. You off today? No. It's a work day. Where'd he go? Oh.
Just a fast food place?
Fucking hell, I thought you connected! What the fuck? What is with this Bluetooth? Come on. Piece of shit. There we go. Fucking hell. Probably just ear raped you all like twice. Ugh. Condolences.
That's it. Everything that you eat there just tastes like fast food, but good fast food. And there happens to be waiters and waitresses. They'll give you that shit. So, pretty good recipe for success.
Waffle House?
I want to bathe in Raisin Cane sauce.
Raisin Canes.
Yeah, I don't know how. Somehow my wife does not like cane sauce. I don't know what the hell's wrong with her. I don't know what sort of, like, weird short circuit has happened in her brain. So cane sauce ain't legit, but fucking cane sauce is pretty much perfect.
I have not had it, so I couldn't tell you what it's like.
Red Robins, come. I love it. Will humans ever get beyond the gender thing? Yeah, eventually.
At some point.
It'll take many generations, unfortunately. We'll all be dead by the time that this shit's fucking finally gone from the goddamn discourse.
Sadly. I wish we could all just, like, you know, have a unanimous agreement of, like, yep, this is bullshit, let's just end, you know, this idea.
The best. Wendy's is so mid.
But no. Because as soon as we're, like, over with, like, the NB, trans, you know, and all that, like, gender specifics, then it's gonna be, like, the, you know, like, the xenogenders and stuff. It's like, you know, it's like, oh, well, you know, I can understand these things, but these xenogenders don't come on now. You know, there's gonna be motherfuckers out there about that. Because there already is. Like, you know, eventually it's gonna, like, you know, go down the goalposts, and eventually they're gonna be predominantly the ones hit, instead of, like, people who are trans or non-binary or some shit. Eventually it's gonna get, you know, like, because, like, before trans folks, it was gay people, and just, like, you know, just queer folks was kind of, period, like, you know, gay, lesbian, bisexual folks. So, you know, it only makes sense that, like, the next thing down the line when it comes to scapegoating would be, you know, people who are, like, quote-unquote, like, xenogender. Which honestly just seems like a weird way to describe it. you know, at least like xenogender, because that basically just means, like, at least for now, like, just like pretty much like any gender identity that isn't a part of like what is the traditional gendered, you know, titles or whatever, like male, female, and B, etc. All humans are valid. I agree. I mean, I don't got a problem with any of that shit. I don't care, but you know, because I'm for gender abolition. You know, so like at the end of the day, I don't give a fuck. I'm just saying, you know, I'm just making an observation about like, you know, what right wingers, you know, and what at least people who are like, you know, prudish about this shit would be doing.
I don't know anything about their song.
I mean, because like I said, I mean, if you know, look at it historically, like, you know, there was like, you know, gay people were fucking freaked out about and shit, and then it was like tied into things like Satanic Panic, and then it kind of died off for a little bit, then came back in the 90s, and then kind of died off a little bit again, and then, you know, end up having like one more little hoopla with acceptance involved with it back in like the 2010s, and then after that, it's now trans people. So it's going to be like that for a while, and then it's going to be like, oh, well, what else is beyond this? The xenogender shit. That's what they're going to be like. And again, they're already like that as it is now. They're just in that middle area where it's like gay people get our scorn and these get our scorn, but these motherfuckers really get the scorn.
That's like obviously a more select.
So it's just like they're at that level right
It
now.
would be kind of crazy to just like open up. I mean, I'd probably just get like a bunch of fucking trolls and people calling in.
Your last comment for that one.
I mean, it would have. It never.
I said we draw a line extraterrestrial. Gee, dude, fuck off. No.
Like, that's gonna be pretty much inevitable.
Like, all sentient life is valid. How about that, bitch?
ATG decided not to revisit.
You know what? I'll even go one step further.
I mean, I still
The hot take of all life valid. Organic life that exists concurrently. Oh, damn. Hot takes galore, dude.
Doing like a
Whatever are we gonna do with these hot takes?
Where I look at a bunch of the older videos, not necessarily on the screen, but as more of a like refined piece of like scripted content. So I could like, I don't know, kind of construct something that kind of like can touch upon multiple.
Here, I know he's been going for a minute. Let's go back a little bit.
To fucking
No shit, he was delving into some memes. Yeah, let's see what these memes are.
alarms go
What's
off.
this? School shooting drill. Learn to safe room. Trans kids first. Cis white kids stand guard outside. What? What? That doesn't even make sense. That's insane. No one thinks this. Literally nobody fucking thinks this. Who in the fuck actually... What? What the fuck?
She's like, school shooting drill, into the safe room, trans kids first. Cis white kids stand guard outside.
Dude, no one fucking thinks this.
What?
What?
I think I'm trans. Me too. Okay, come in. Oh yeah.
Oh my...
Oh, this common everyday occurrence, man. Schools across America. You know it and I know it. This is how it all goes down. Like, I get that, you know, you're making a comic strip, and, you know, part of that is probably exaggerations. But even as an exaggeration, how fucking full of shit is this goddamn thing, huh?
It is beyond, like, not only has it filled the shit trough, it's flooding everything else around the shit trough. Why you must dude, what? Like, okay, I know you're trolling, but, yeah, I know you are, but oh my god, like, again, no one's out, even sarcastically. I mean, like, I mean, there, like, I mean, Jesus Christ, it's like, this just... It's not even, like, a tend towards any fucking reality, and just is all it is, just, like, to enable, like, oh, well, you know, our good, straight, white, Western culture is just being erased. Like, this is basically just, like, an also subtle, like, you know, racist shit, too, if you think about it, because, like, this whole, like, oh, you know, this is the burden of what us white folks need to deal with when it comes to the woke. Like, I mean, instead of like, basically saying the blacks or the Jews or whatever the fuck else, they just like combined it all into woke, and it's just easier, and not only to blur it out, but easier to push your fucking racist shit. Because then you can be like, I'm not racist, I'm just against this whole woke shit. I'm not racist, I'm just against this whole black culture shit.
Libs say right.
Like, I mean, it's just the same fucking shit.
Wing memes, they mean Facebook/Twitter conservative boomer memes. 4chan, arguably the core of internet culture, is not. 4chan is every bit as much of an amalgam of different points of view as anywhere on the goddamn internet, alright?
Sure, but it's also got a gigantic, like, flex of Nazis that like to go there because they all like to, to stay anonymous, and 4chan is a great place to do that.
And, like, you can go from board to board on that thing and see all kinds of different fucking perspectives. Also, a lot of people are using 4chan as a place for their crazy-ass id to just run amok.
Yeah, frankly.
So I don't even necessarily think 4chan is all that reflective of who a person is in their day-to-day. If they're like...
I mean, honestly, even for me, I'll, like, peruse 4chan occasionally. I don't, like, partake of anything on them, but I'll, like, just observe them, just kind of see, what people are saying or doing on there. But the thing is, though, there's a lot of fucking Nazis there. Like, openly. Like, at least, when it comes to being anonymously so. Like, I mean, a lot of the shit that that, like, a lot of these Nazis wish they could say on platforms like YouTube and Twitter and shit, they say there. And there is some heinous shit that is mentioned. Like, I have, like, dead ass have just, like, I honestly, I can't even give an example, honestly, because they're bad. They really are. It's like, fuck. It's like, I mean, it's like, well, the only thing I can think of is, like, a brick to deal with a situation like that, because it's like, what the fuck?
Demons come out, like, you know what I mean? But even with that being factored in, there's tons of freaking crazy left-wing shit.
Oh, yeah.
Milquetoast lib shit. It's just because it's a place where everybody can just go and post anonymously, so... Yeah, there's a whole slew of crazy shit going on there. This idea that 4chan is just like, oh man, strictly like a right-wing place. Not true.
Yeah, I totally agree with that, at least. Like, I mean, unless it's like something specific like Rumble or Truth Social, I mean, it's just like these social media platforms aren't like inherently strictly like one like political bent or the other. I mean, just because of like specific TOS policies or some shit they may have, that will probably grant like who will probably predominantly be on the platform. Like, Fortune, for example, yeah, because of how the platform's set up, you're going to get a lot more people who have more shocking / appalling type of takes, go on there saying their shit. Which is why a lot of, far-right, Nazi types, will be there saying their shit because, it's a place to where they could just let their id out. So, all in all, I mean, at the end of the day, it's strictly not just those types. I mean, there's plenty, like, honestly, I've seen some interesting back and forths, too, with those type of people, with, like, more, like, lefty progressive types, or at least ostensibly, where, like, you're kind of wrong because you should probably just be, like, focusing on yourself instead of this weird, like, doomer cell shit and blah, blah, blah. Like, I mean, they're a lot more, like, meme lord with their verbiage, but I mean, they are kind of like nonetheless actually challenging some shit sometimes. So unfortunately, it's just weird. Like, it's just such a fucking weird platform. Because it's like a weird place where people let their id out, but also have like weird deep philosophical musings with a bunch of weird meme lord language interwoven into it. It's just so fucking odd. If you think like some of the debate bro shit on the surface level of the internet's weird, I mean, some of the 4chan debate bro shit is like extra level, like, what the fuck?
I got 4chaners to argue if Shrek exists.
Oh my god, I've unironically seen some weird shit like that. Dude, that's why I like to go on 4chan sometimes. I don't go on there to, partake in the weirdness, but I like to watch it and observe it from a distance.
Exactly my point.
Oh, no. Oh, I've seen this one. Dude, I've seen this one. How can you ignore gun violence in America? Sure, just massacred a dozen. And then it's cut off. And then this NRA shitbag is just like, he was trans. No, yeah, dude, Stone Toss is openly a fucking Nazi. And, like, basically, like, it's so bad that basically, like, if there's even, like, a brown or, like, black character, like, portrayed in any of his comics, like, really take a little analysis in comparison to these, like, white ones that he always has endlessly, because, like, they are way more exaggeratedly portrayed in comparison to these dudes. I'm not even fucking kidding. Like, it's like menstrual shit, but modernized.
Gun violence in America. A shooter just massacred a dozen people. He was trans, and then they're just calm. Because that's how it was. The moment that America found out the shooter was trans, everyone just shut up.
Oh, yep, it's like, oh, okay, who cares? You know, that's, yeah, man. Who gives a fuck?
And that shooting didn't even happen.
It was a false flag.
Not how I remember it. I seem to remember people still fucking talking gun control points.
Yeah.
Joe Biden is actually pushing really hard right now to ban assault weapons and shit, so...
Which I don't agree with.
Oh.
And honestly, it just doesn't really do shit. Like, it really honestly doesn't. Like, do you really think that, like, banning that shit is really gonna solve any of these fucking issues? No, it doesn't. I really do believe when it comes to, like, legislation like that, it does fucking nothing. Like, when it comes to addressing, you know, things like gun violence, it needs to be, you know, focused at the root causes of, like, socioeconomic instability and poverty and mental health and shit. And, yeah, accessibility to things like that.
It does nothing but collect more taxes.
So what? I don't care. Like, I mean, like, taxes are necessary for a functional society. I don't give a fuck if it is used to collect more taxes. Who gives a shit?
Like, the idea that everyone just shut up the minute it was revealed the shooter was trans, not really accurate, but hey. Once again, I'll give it some leeway because it is a fucking comic, but, like, come on.
TJ, this is Stone Toss. You don't want to give this fucker great leeway.
Even the editorial perspective on that, sans any sort of, like, allowance for exaggeration is pretty goddamn stupid. Here's a great one. Someone has...
this one's really
We'll
detailed.
go to the top here first.
I deserve $11 an hour minimum wage. Oh god, this is like some this is like some anti-worker shit.
Disgruntled piece of useless subhuman scum at a restaurant called Burger Death.
Burger Death? Oh shit, it does say it right there. Dude, if there was like a fast food place called Burger Death or some shit, I would fucking go there all the time, dude.
I'm fine with this place. I'll go to Burger Death any day.
Dude, hell yeah.
You give me a restaurant called Burger Death, I'll be in line.
Damn right, based.
And she says, I deserve an $11 an hour minimum wage. This is
Well, honestly, she probably deserves more than that.
2014, so by now it would be higher, but at this time...
Oh yeah, okay, if this is like 2014, damn, this is an old one. But yeah, if it was, yeah, like, it would probably be more like 19 an hour now.
$11. That's what they're asking.
The burger's $10.60.
And then she's telling this guy the burger is $10.60, which that's a fucking expensive burger, even by modern day inflation standards.
Yeah.
And he says, here's a 20 and 60 cents, okay? So, you know, obviously, you just give him a 10.
Yeah.
Back in change. And she's like, I don't, know what to do. I better call a manager.
What? Dude. Okay, oh my god, this is so stupid. This is just basically condescending, you know, minimum wage workers as being, like, stupid and don't know what they're doing and are failures and blah, blah, blah. Even though this is remotely not even true. Like, being, you know, someone who's working retail in a grocery store, like, yeah, there's, like, people who are new who don't got, like, you know, their numbers for the register yet. And when they do, yeah, they don't quite know everything, but, like, honestly, like, the shit on the till itself, like, kind of shows you everything. Like, it kind of does everything for you. Like, so if someone, you know, so for example, if someone brings you $10 or $20.60 for a $10.60 item, Like, it will literally, like, our registers, will outright, tell you the amount of change that you give back. And also, there's a change dispenser that automatically dispenses change. Like, so you don't have to worry about counting change, like, outside of, like, any change that's given to you. So, like, outside of that, there's, like, no fucking issues here. Like, I mean, this doesn't happen. Like, I've never seen this happen. I've seen people be like, hey, I think I might have misclicked something, or I think I double scanned this, Like, I've seen people ask about that shit, and I'll just walk over and be like, oh, yeah, you just, click that and do this and scan it that way, and you avoid it, and blah, blah, blah. Like, and they're like, oh, okay. And then they know it from there, and they never ask me about it again. It's like... Honestly, the most common thing I get asked about the register is what my last 3 or my password is, for when I was last on it, because I forget to log off on the fucking thing. So someone's like, hey, what's your last 3? And I'm gonna have to be like, oh, yeah, it's this. Oops, forgot to log off. I mean, honestly, that's what happens more often than not. And frankly, a lot of modern registers these days are pretty much under a very similar, system or, like, software that, I have, when it comes to, like, or at least, that Safeway has. Like, it's all, like, a lot of, like, the actual, like, like, counting of the change and all that shit is kind of done for you at this point. Which, honestly, is good, because, like, if you get, like, some complicated, like, money given to you or some shit, like, like, you got, like, I don't know, like a $9, shit that you're selling to somebody, and they give you, like, $10 in, like, change, like, you got, like, $5 worth of quarters, and then, like, $10, worth of, like, miscellaneous change. Like, outside of counting that, once you kind of get the total amount and shit, I mean, like, the rest of the register will tell the change and everything else back to you. Like, there's just literally no reason for this weird confusion or this idea that this happens. Like, the only time I think I've ever seen something like this happen is if, like, a register is, like, acting up. Like, where the register is, like, malfunctioning, which has happened. Like, because honestly, there's been times where, the registers have, like, acted up, or we're being slow and shit like that. And, we would have to, like, get a manager override or this or that because they're fucking being glitchy and shit. It happens occasionally. It's not like it, things like that never happen, but, I mean, that's not, like, the fault of the worker. That's the software being fucked up. Like, I mean, and, probably needed a reboot or something, but that takes a long time, especially if every register has to be turned off and on again. So it's just, like, just might as well just go through the day, then just, like, turn them on and off again, and hope this system runs more smoothly. Which usually it does.
I guess she's really bad at math. But you know who else is really bad? The artist, because you look in here and he's trying to hand her 3 bills. He says he has a $20 bill and 60 cents. So what the hell's going on there? Yeah,
wait. Is there dollar bill amounts that are 60 cents?
So here it is. Here's the 50-cent bill, and here is the 10-cent bill.
What? Yeah, here's 3 fucking something, that amount, no, what?
Yeah, here's 3 fucking bills.
Move you, TJ.
Amount.
Move yourself.
There you go, buddy. Maybe it's a nitpick, but I like it.
Aw,
what's going on here?
Uh-oh. Don't blame the lightsaber.
Blame the lightsaber when Anakin killed the younglings.
Wait, what? I already know what this is meant to analogize. Oh, no one blamed the, it's like everyone blames the guns when, people kill, kids, but no one said anything about Anakin with his lightsaber. Hey, retard, it's fiction. Fiction and reality are 2 different things, you absolute fucking homunculus.
What an argument, man.
What an argument, bro.
Sitting here trying to talk about reality. And this motherfucker's gonna bust out his... Now's the time to bust out...
And I do condemn... Yeah. Like, I mean, and also... Yeah, you know what? This also applies that, like... everyone blames Anakin and condemns him, but not the lightsaber. It's like, well, yeah, that's his lightsaber. Like, you think, like... Yeah, that's also condemned with him because he's the one who used it to kill the younglings with, you fucking idiot. It wouldn't matter if he used a fucking droid blaster or clone blaster or whatever the fuck. It wouldn't matter if he used that or a lightsaber and shit. I mean, it's like, goddamn. But he somewhat finds redemption in killing Palpatine. I mean, yeah, like, honestly, all in all, like, there's definitely a good, redemption arc with Anakin either way. But when it comes to this part of his arc, I mean, this is the part of the arc of Anakin that is condemned. That, we see him going to the dark side. Like, it just goes into that. Like, I mean, we've talked Star Wars stuff. We know about Anakin's story arc and shit, blah, blah, blah. Don't really need to get too far into it. But, like, yeah, the actions that he did, when it came to, basically, morphing from Anakin to Vader, including killing the younglings, because that's a part of it, is the condemnation of, his character, but also a part of his development. Like, there's a reason why that happened in the first place, because Sidious is the one who fucking, had him do it. Because because that was the way to kind of tie into loose ends and solidify the Empire and take out the Jedi Order. Like, there's a whole reason for it. Obviously, don't make it good, but still.
Wars reference.
Like, one's fiction and based off of, like, a whole fucking arc and story, and this is just, like...
Nobody blames the light.
And others are based off of reality and real issues.
Well, I guess that you got something like a point going on there, but, like, do we
Not
know
really.
if, like, the easy access to lightsabers to, like, mentally unstable aspiring Jedi is causing people to, people who shouldn't necessarily be able to get their hands on one to do that? I don't know. I don't know if the politics of the Star Wars universe necessarily transpose easily onto the politics of our universe. But maybe they do.
I mean, kind of. At least broadly, to an extent, I guess they do.
Oh no, I don't know the lore. I don't know the deep lore. When you get to the extended universe shit, maybe then.
They really don't. Yeah, I mean, they broadly really don't, but, I mean, you can definitely, I mean, obviously there can be analogies. I mean, fiction, is, like, basically meant as a way to kind of, like, like, have a commentary of reality to an extent. Not entirely, but, that a lot of fiction and a lot of art usually tends to have some sort of a commentary, that, reflects on some element about our reality.
Here's
oh God, what's this one?
Putting the metal on him.
At least that's how George envisioned it. Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, yeah. I mean, there's not really much else to say with that one.
Fighting the metal, and he's making out with her and grabbing her ass, flipping the bird, shooting the champagne. But then it turns out, Woman of the Year. Oh, I see.
Oh, this dude is supposed to be a Woman of the Year or something.
Yeah,
This doesn't even make sense because this never happens.
So many trans women are just dudes with,
They just look like just big, beefy trucker guys. Just like these working class, like, truckers. That's just all what trans men are. Just like these beefcake trucker looking dudes.
With bald heads and Mario mustaches.
With Mario
huge
mustaches.
rippling muscles,
Fucking bear bods galore.
Yeah, I mean, she's hot. I don't know what to tell you, Banana Bucks, thank you. Racism in America was almost dead because we were united in ridiculing racists and their beliefs. Then these two showed up and set America back 100 years.
Obama, Michelle. Oh my God. And I recognize the top thing. That's for Blazing Saddles. Like, what a way to miss the actual fucking point. Bruh. Like, I mean, yeah, Blazing Saddles was that. I mean, but also even for its day. Like, back in the day, like, the movie was considered, like, shocking and controversial when it was released. Like, it was, like, an edgy movie for even its time. I mean, it's just like, huh? Like, I mean, yeah, that's partially what it was. A gays movie. No, yeah, that's Brokeback Mountain. Blazing Saddles isn't.
Said you're gonna move that?
What?
You said you wanted to move the safer.
Well, I mean, not like anytime soon, but...
Okay, let's... Rather than me having to move it out of the way and drill holes in the concrete and all that type of fun stuff, I'm just gonna screw it through the wall. That way you just...
Okay.
It no one can grab it and run off with it.
I mean, okay.
Okay, Snots, this is heavy. Move.
Yeah, what are you doing, butt? Anyway, but... Yeah, like, and also, like, the idea that, like, you know, they look at, like, you know, a movie like Blade Saddles, like, yep, racism was dead because this movie existed. Like, no, it didn't. Like, I mean, I just love how basically, you know, fucking, like, the idea that a movie, you know, existed just somehow, like, yep, that's because racism wasn't a thing no more. We all just were able to come together, kumbaya, and ridicule together. It's like, no, that's not, like, how reality works at all. Like,
Yeah, damn.
and I love how, like, you know, yeah, it was Obama and Michelle that set back, you know, like, you know, systemic racism on Cheers. It's not like, you know, the status quo that's done that at all.
Too.
I guess, you know, maybe, like, on a very slight tangential level they were, because they were, like, status quo enabler fucks anyway, but, like, I mean, they're not the root of any of it.
Damn them to hell.
They're just a symptom.
America was almost over racism until we had a black president, and then I was like, no.
How dare they?
I'm pretty sure
How dare they elect a black president?
the reason that Blazing Saddles was made is because racism was, like, rampant.
Yeah.
You know, they didn't decide, like, let's make fun of racists even though there almost are none. They made fun of racists because it was still way too fucking prevalent. And the idea that, like, you were somehow forced into being racist by the existence of the first black president is a pretty stupid notion. Like, yeah, man.
It also just kind of shows, you know, like, you know, their actual, like, opinions about all this. Like, Blade Saddles was made because of rampant racism and shit. And, oh, but it was almost gone until some blacks became our leaders. It's like the movie is literally fucking on whoever made this meme. It's literally fucking on people who believe on this, like, on this idea. Or believe in this idea. Like, I mean, that's what the fuck, you know, like, the whole movie's basically, you know, making fun of. It's like the rampant racist ideology and, you know, the views that, you know, come from it. Because, especially for its time, it was heavily rampant. Because, like, did the movie come out in, like, what, the 70s, 80s, somewhere around there? Like, desegregation was just a recent thing. Like, I mean, and a lot of, like, the racist animosity and shit was still, like, kind of, like, around at that point. Like, very heavily.
The reason Obama triggers me so hard is because of not his race, but some other attribute, but it makes me hate all people of his race. So really, he set America back, you know? Did he?
Blade Saddles 2000s movie. I mean, I don't believe it is. I'm pretty sure it's, you know, from, like, you know, I don't know exactly when it was made, to be fair, but I know it's an older film.
I'm pretty sure he didn't.
I mean, maybe it was probably the 80s. I think it might have been in the 80s when it was made.
You were already racist when he got elected, and that's why you hate him so much. Don't get me wrong, I hate Obama too, but I waited for for there to actually be reasons to hate him. I just didn't decide, like, uh-oh, must be a secret Kenyan Muslim, y'all.
Here, we'll look at this one more right here.
Another meme. Colorado.
Oh, this is just one of these fucking, like, yeah, look, see, even though there's hundreds of mass shootings, you know, like, it's 1974. Okay, 1974. Yeah, so yeah, like, desegregation, just, you know, civil rights, you know, and all that shit, it was basically at the teeter end of that shit. Like, Blade Saddles, you know, kind of popped off, like, at the, you know, at the height of that shit. But yeah, this meme right here, it's basically just like, you know, like, even though there's like hundreds of mass shootings, you know, these four specifically are the ones we need to worry about. Got non-binary and the rest trans, say.
Spring shooter identified as non-binary. Denver shooter identified as trans. Aberdeen shooter identified as trans. Nashville shooter identified as trans. So,
which honestly, with these first three, I don't even 100% know if that was even the case. I think the Colorado Spring one is true, but for these other two, I don't even fucking know if that even is the case or not. But I never really delved, you know, too deep into that. That's a Cat Turd 2 meme.
Well, including the Colorado Springs shooter on this is like a giant load of bullshit. Because that guy was not non-binary.
Yeah, I mean, like, I want to say partially just because, like, supposedly he was, you know, and there's, like, at least people that were around him before in the past that said you know, it was kind of like that, but it was not really like anything that was truly, you know, like confirming. And also the idea that they're like gonna like harp on that shit when like all of them were like they had to come in base. It's like, you know, fuck right the fuck off. Like the idea that you're gonna just try to like, you know, be like, oh no, see, we went. It's just like, no, bullshit.
LGBT
Fuck off.
Fuck. That guy hated LGBT people. Everybody who knows him says he was a fucking Nazi. His family fucking knows he's a Nazi. He ran a fucking Nazi message board. So, like, this guy...
The dude was literally fucking insane. Like, you know, supposedly was, like, gay / non-binary, but also a fucking crazy far-right Nazi, you know, and did all this... Like, dude, that guy's just basically just straight up, like, fucking insane.
Fucking non-binary. He said that to make waves. He said that to do a psyop. And that is well documented and obvious.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about this Denver or Aberdeen shooter. I know some stuff about the Nashville shooter. I can tell you this. Even if you go on a per capita basis and look at mass shooters, trans people are underrepresented. I think trans people are like, depending on who you ask, anywhere from like 0.5 to somewhere around like 1, maybe a little over 1% of the population.
I think the average is about like 0.7% or something. I mean, they think like conservatively it's about 0.5, and then liberally like 1.3% or something like that. I mean, it's not like, you know, total like yeah or no, you know, confirmation one way or the other, because there's still, you know, plenty of trans people that are still like, you know, haven't come out yet, and, you know, and shit like that. So, you know, which I understand, you know, considering, you know, like the waves of fucking discrimination happening. So, I mean, you know, I wouldn't be surprised if it, you know, it's more than we think, but, you know, at least I think, you know, the general idea is about like 0.7%. And either way, it's just like, and also a lot of these fucking mass shootings, you know, tend to happen with, you know, curiously enough, a lot of like white men who are usually like of a right-leaning persuasion, at least, you know, for the ones who have manifestos and shit. I mean, and if they're not, you know, over that type of bent, you know, it's usually due to like, you know, some sort of a, you know, basically like a cry for help sense, you know, when it comes to like their mental health, and when it comes to just basically having, you know, like a fucking, I might as well go out in a blaze of, you know, hellfire and shit. And, I mean, the more common terminology is blaze of glory, but in this case it's more like hellfire. Barking with the Eater of Worlds site, should I? I don't know. I've never gotten an event like that, so I really wouldn't know what it's, you know, to do with that one. I guess, you know, fuck it. You know, see where it goes. Might as well. Here. But I'll get one more bowl loaded and head off to work and all that shit. Any more coffee left? Well, don't now. To eat some of you in exchange for power and survivors. Well, your whole lore is about humanity first, right? So, what do you think? Even for me, I wouldn't even be doing that personally. I'd be like, oh, you're gonna eat some of us and empower us that live? That doesn't exactly have like a mutual benefit. Plus 40 each? Fuck. Well, I mean, I have a Discord about the, like, specifics about for debug mode. Oh, looking at stats? Well, I don't know. Do you want to stay lore friendly, or do you want to win? You know, basically, I guess it's the whole premise. But anyway, gotta get to work and all that fun shit, so... Of course, I'll be back around later tonight, so...